Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're the kind of learner who just completely geeks out over the hidden microscopic mechanics keeping us alive, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, in this explainer, we're diving into a totally invisible, yet absolutely essential plumbing system running through you right this very second, the lymphatic system. We're going to track the exact journey of lymph, really looking closely at its formation and its flow. We'll decode how this fluid moves, how it changes names, and how it literally keeps you functioning.
So think about your body for a second. Your blood is constantly pumping through this massive network of tubes. But what exactly happens when fluid leaks out of your bloodstream? Because, spoiler alert, it does leak, constantly. I mean, imagine the plumbing in your house just slowly seeping water into the walls. That sounds like an absolute disaster, right? It sounds like a mechanical plumbing nightmare that needs an immediate, ingenious solution. Well, your body actually has that exact solution, and today we're going to solve this biological mystery together.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our map for today's micro journey. It's an actual biology worksheet covering Section 1, lymph formation and flow. And we're going to decode this whole thing step by step. Now, instead of just handing you the answers, we're going to use this fill-in-the-blanks format as sort of a logical puzzle to piece together exactly how this rogue fluid is managed by the body.
Deciphering the word bank. Let's quickly set up the rules for our little biological puzzle. Here are our choices: blood capillary, lymphatic vessel, lymph node, lymphatic capillary, vena cava, valves, interstitial or tissue fluid, and simple squamous. Now notice the sneaky little instruction at the top. Some words will not be used. We have exactly 5 blanks to fill across our 4 steps, but 8 distinct choices. That means 3 of these terms are clever distractors just sitting there to test our true understanding of the system. So we got to be sharp. Step 1, the initial leak. Let's look at where this all starts. Let's start right at the beginning of the cascade. This is the moment the fluid decides to make its great escape. Our first challenge reads, plasma leaks out of the blank and becomes blanks surrounding the body's cells. Take a look at those options again. We're looking for 2 specific things here: the exact structure the plasma is escaping from and the brand new name for this fluid once it's out in the open surrounding your cells. Any guesses?
Well, if you guessed blood capillary for the first blank, you hit the nail right on the head. The blood capillary is that specific, highly microscopic starting point where the plasma actually leaks out. You know, it's the thinnest, most permeable part of the entire circulatory system, which makes it the absolute perfect escape route for this fluid.
Now, what's really wild here is how the fluid gets a brand new identity simply by changing its physical location. Once that plasma crosses the boundary of the blood capillary and settles into the spaces around the cells, it is no longer called plasma. It becomes interstitial or tissue fluid. It's literally the exact same fluid, just with a new job title based on its new neighborhood.
Step 2, fluid recovery. Time to clean up the leak.
So we've got fluid leaking out and pooling around our cells. If this just kept happening unchecked, we'd swell up like giant balloons. The body has to recover this leaked interstitial fluid. Our prompt for step 2 is pretty fascinating. This fluid is picked up by a closed-ended blank found within the tissues. The absolute crucial clue here is the phrase closed-ended. We're looking for a highly specialized structure, nestled right there in the tissues, whose sole purpose is to pick up the slack.
And the answer is the lymphatic capillary. This is the counterpart to the blood capillary. But unlike the continuous loop of the blood system, these lymphatic capillaries are specifically designed as closed-ended tubes. Think of them almost like biological vacuum hoses, dipping directly into the tissues to aggressively scoop up all that rogue interstitial fluid so it doesn't just sit there.
Step 3, preventing backflow. Gotta keep things moving up.
Once the fluid is scooped up, we face a whole new mechanical challenge. We have to keep this fluid moving in the right direction, against gravity, and without a giant pump like the heart driving it. Step 3 states, the fluid, now called lymph, moves through lymphatic vessels which contain blank that prevent backflow. Notice another identity change here. What was plasma, then became interstitial fluid, is now officially called lymph, the second it enters the lymphatic vessel. But as it moves, it needs a specific physical mechanism to make sure it doesn't just slide right back down to where it started.
The missing piece here? Valves. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the mechanical genius of the human body. Just like the plumbing in a massive skyscraper, these lymphatic vessels are equipped with one-way valves. Fluid gets pushed forward, the valves swing open. But the absolute second that fluid tries to fall backward, boom, they snapshot. It completely trops the lymph, forcing it to continue its journey upward and onward.
Step 4, the filtration station. Time for a quick clean.
So the fluid is moving, it's trapped in a one-way street, and it's making its way back to the main bloodstream. But wait, before it can be safely dumped back into your general circulation, it needs to be checked. Our final fill-in-the-blank question reads, before returning to the bloodstream, lymph is filtered as it passes through a blank. Remember, this fluid has been washing all over your body's tissues, picking up all sorts of cellular debris along the way. So where does this vital filtration process happen?
It passes through a lymph node, and that is the final piece of our puzzle. The lymph node acts as the ultimate security checkpoint and cleaning station. Before that lymph is allowed anywhere near the main bloodstream, the lymph nodes completely filter out the impurities, making absolutely sure the fluid returning to your blood is safe and clean.
The leftovers. What about those extra words?
Okay, let's do a quick audit. We used blood capillary, interstitial fluid, lymphatic capillary, valves, and lymph node. That leaves vena cava, simple squamous, and lymphatic vessel left on the cutting room floor. Now, while the lymphatic vessel was technically mentioned in the text of Step 3, it wasn't one of our fill-in-the-blank answers. And vena cava and simple squamous? Total distractors. They're real biological terms, sure, but they didn't fit into this specific microjourney. Always satisfying to tie up those loose ends, isn't it?
The grand finale, the complete map. Let's put it all together.
So, the crucial point here is this beautifully simple 4-step sequence. Step 1. Plasma leaks out of the blood capillary to become interstitial fluid. Step 2. That fluid is actively picked up by a closed-ended lymphatic capillary. Step 3. Now called lymph, it moves through larger lymphatic vessels equipped with valves to ensure it only flows one way. And finally, Step 4. Before returning to the bloodstream, that lymph is thoroughly filtered by a lymph node. The whole shebang is just an incredibly elegant, continuous loop of your body's hidden plumbing.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to ponder. Now that you intimately understand the mechanics of how this fluid escapes, changes its identity, is collected, pumped, and filtered, what would happen if this hidden plumbing system suddenly just stopped working? How quickly would that delicate balance of fluid fail? I'll leave you to think about that incredible biological balancing act. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.